All right, guys, moving forward with our character drawings here, we are actually going to start painting if we have the materials. But before we do anything else, the first thing you want to do is a little bit of erasing. All right, I should have included a little white eraser with your packet. And we want to just go in and erase all of our grid lines that are inside and outside of our character. All right, this takes some time, but you need to take your time, make it look nice. And if you ever get an area that lightens a little bit, you're going to want to go back in and make sure you put that line back in. Take your time, make sure you're not erasing things you don't mean to, and get all the lines out, especially inside your character. All right, step number one. Step number two is going to be doing a little bit of paint. All right, if you don't have paint, stick around. There is an alternate version of this that you can do. But I went to Walmart and I picked up a couple different things. I'm not requiring you to grab these things, but if you want to, they are fairly cheap. This one is 97 cents. And I actually like these paints a little bit better than these. We're looking for some thick, nice paints, either tempera or acrylic. If you got them at home, fantastic, use them. If not, and you want to get them, not a big investment. But if you don't have these, you probably have some of these, and I'm going to show you a different version after we get through the paint real quick. All right? Now, we want to use visual mixing, all right, when we are doing this project. And what the heck is that? Well, we are using our eye to mix colors together. Rather than mixing them to the exact color we want on our palette, we are mixing different versions of that color, lights and darks, tints and shades, and combining them together with a thick brush stroke. Let me show you what I need, what I mean. Here's my palette here. And here's what I've been painting so far. Okay. So what I want if you are doing the paint route is to be able to see your brush strokes as you are painting. All right, and I want to see a variety of different versions of each color in each area. Okay, so you can see here in the eye, I've got mostly blue, but I've got some darker versions of the blue that I mixed with black, and I've got some lighter versions of the blue that I mixed with white. And here in the skin tone area, I've got some yellows, I've got some pinky colors, I've got darks, I've got lights. All of these are kind of close to the skin tone of my character, but not exactly the same. All right, so basically what I'm doing is I'm loading my brush up with some paint, and I'm doing a couple of dabs on here, kind of spreading them out so that I don't have one color all in one spot. And then I'll grab a different color, something close. This is a lighter version of that skin tone. I'll do a couple of brush strokes. Don't be afraid to put it on a little bit thick. All right, and maybe I'll grab this pinkier one over here, get some on there, and add a few more. Okay, we want to cover the paper entirely, but we want to do it with these little bits of color. Okay, maybe a few darker ones. All right, and if you've got an area that's darker, like around the eye here, in my reference it was much darker because I was in shadow on this side, make the colors darker in that area. If there's a highlight area, like in his hair right here, I'm going to make sure that's nice and light. All right? But even in the eye right here, I'm going to add some very, very light brush strokes. All right? We want to cover the whole paper. So I'll do some light yellow. I might mix in a little bit of red. Do some light red. But different versions of the same color, and we want to cover the whole page. Okay? It's going to take a little while, but the result is going to come out really good. Make sure you have your reference in front of you. Make sure you're paying attention to where there are shadows and where there are highlights, and make sure where there are highlights, the colors are lighter. And where there are shadows, the colors are darker. All right? But basically, we are mixing the color we want, making different versions of it, lights and darks, and adjusting the color in different ways too. And then we are allowing, when we look at this, our eye to blend it all together. Okay? That's the paint route. Tempera or acrylic. Now, if you don't have that, we're going to be using colored pencils. And we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to do visual mixing. Our eyes are going to do the mixing for us. So you don't need that many colors. I've got 12 here. That's more than enough for what I need. All right, and what I've been doing is, for my picture of Isabelle here, is instead of mixing the color, the exact color that I want, I'm using these little dots of different sizes to create the color that I want. Now down here on her dress, it's kind of a light blue-green color. So I've got big areas, bigger dots of blue, but I've also got some green in there, and I've also got some yellow in there to kind of mix in our eyes the color that we want. The shadow underneath her skirt here has almost the same colors as here, but it's also got a couple of black dots, a couple of dark blue dots, because that part's in shadow. All right, up here on her hair, it's a very light yellow color. So what I did is, just using yellow instead of coloring in the whole area like you might do in a coloring page, I am putting dots of yellow and leaving white around it so that our eyes can mix it. Now normally you might color it in yellow and then mix in some white on top of it, but instead of doing that, we're allowing our eyes to mix the colors together. Okay? If you don't have pencils and paint, if that's not a thing you can do, please come and talk to me. I've got a couple other ideas in mind if that doesn't work for you. But I think this is going to work for most people, either the paint or the colored pencil version. All right, take your time, make it look nice and neat, and let me know how your progress is going as we move through the week. Good luck.